Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Munch, munch, munch.
Hello, welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenges of being a man in modern society and whatever the hell that even means. I'm Kane, and joining me today to chat man stuff are Ryan and Matty. Firstly, gents, how was the weekend?
Pretty good, boys.
Yeah, really nice. We're down in Dalesford, which is a beautiful part of country Victoria that I have never been to. So we had a strategic planning weekend with our company, which surprisingly was very, very good. Not at all exhausting. And then today got to walk around a beautiful lake, chill out at a cafe, and just sort of enjoy some fresh country air away from the F1.
How many litres of mineral water did you bring home with you?
A little bit, yeah. Very. We did see the mineral springs there, but I think that'll have to be next time. Definitely be going back soon though.
They've done a pretty good job of redeveloping that mineral springs sort of, beach, one of a better term, sort of beach house massage parlour or whatever you want to call it. It's a great little location, but just being able to go around Dalesford and actually just pump your own mineral water and drink it, I think is a fantastic thing for people. If you've never been to Dalesford, get up there even just for the mineral water, as well as a nice view on the lake. Right, you, Matthew?
Yeah, a little bit different to strategic planning up here. We've had a quite a wet weekend here in Brizzy. So I've just finished making some Nigella Lawson chicken pot pies. I thought they'd be nice wet weather food. And they look scrumptious umptious. Looking forward to munching into them soon.
Nigella Lawson. Wow, there you go. That's a thing.
I've never cooked any of hers before, but I saw her on one of those TV shows the other night. I thought, I'm going to make that.
You have to let us know how it goes next week.
Will do.
Well, on the back of last week, Matthew, we had a fantastic life hack of just instead of taking your kids to the park or something like that, just take them to the car wash and run them through that because it's entertaining. We're doing a session this week on life hacks. Basically, a life hack is any trick, shortcut, skill, or subtle novelty method that increases productivity, efficiency, and sort of all walks of life. So, open the floor to you, gents. Anyone got a life hack they want to share that they use in their day-to-day life or just as a one-off?
Yeah, I love a good life hack. Whenever I hear a new life hack, I'm amazed at how I've never known about that before. And also like the fact that it's quick learning. So you hear it and you can put into practice. So I've got a few life hacks I'll rattle off this evening. The one that I probably use on a daily basis is it's a little tissue box life hack. So for many years there, it's exciting stuff. Whenever I'd open up the box of tissues and try and pull one out, it'd always grab 3 or 4, or they'd all become crumpled. And I'm not too sure if you boys have experienced this as well. So I was wondering, how can I improve this? So I've taken some scissors to each side of where the tissue lining is that the tissues come out of, and I've just made small incisions on each side. And each time, one tissue comes out perfectly square. So I remember doing this a few years back in the old place I used to work, and some people around the office had adopted it. I haven't painted it yet. I probably should, but that's what I'll kick off with: a little tissue box life hack for nice tissues unscrumpled.
Well, there you go, Matthew. I've never really noticed that tissues come out in 2 or 3 or 4, but now that you mention that, that does happen. So that's a good little one. Just a couple of incisions on either side on the sort of the plastic bit, is it, or the cardboard?
On the cardboard. So the tissues coming out of the plastic is where the problem lies. So you just need to make like a 1 centimetre incision on each side of the cardboard, snip, snip, and...
Actually, funny you mentioned tissues. I actually saw a life hack posted, I think it was on Twitter or something the other day, and it was a mum posting a life hack about how she'd set up her teenage son's bedside table with a bunch of tissues because he was quite nasal, and also some hand cream because he has really bad hands. I'm going, pretty sure that's a life hack for something else, but I do
mixed
understand.
Messages for that boy.
Absolutely. Ryan, can you get anything like that?
I'm just impressed that you've thought that deeply into tissues. That's it's fantastic. No.
Did you find that one online, Matt, or did you make that one up yourself?
I can honestly say I made that one up myself. Yeah.
There you go. You're the MacGyver of the tissue box world.
Wow, that's fantastic. And as a sufferer of pretty bad hay fever, come spring I'll implement the patenting in the future that tissue hack.
I'll provide you the hand cream, Ryan.
Oh God. Life hack. Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I'm not really sure whether a lot of the stuff that I do is considered a life hack or whether it's something else. But, and we've touched on it before, one of the big life hacks that I find is, and whether it is or isn't, the life hack is around the intermittent fasting. And I find that as a bit of a hack because it means, one, you don't have to prepare 3 meals a day, which is always nice. And two, if you want and so please, you don't have to usually do breakfast. So you can have, if you're feeling really tired one day, you can comfortably have a sleep in and your body will function fine.
That's a really good point. I've been kind of threatening intermittent fasting, skipping dinner on the basis that dinner's the worst meal to cook. Like breakfast and lunch are easy, like comparatively easy, but dinner's always a bit more kind of elaborate or sort of harder, or it's more involved. So I've been threatening to switch it to skipping dinner just on the basis it'd make life super easy.
But aren't you cooking dinner for other people anyway in your house?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate bit. I can't really not dish up the kid. So that's a spanner in that life hack plan for me. But it's a valid one.
Yeah, it is.
Not having anything till sort of lunchtime-ish does make life a lot easier. You save a bunch of time and money as well.
Yeah, exactly. Although, yeah, I do wonder about the dinner one. Like it's predominantly thought of that you just, do it after you sleep and whatnot. But I've thought, yeah, maybe once or twice might try the dinner thing as well. So if either of us do, we'll flag it with the other one.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just, if my kid goes hungry, he can fend for himself. Maybe not.
He's old enough now.
Yeah, it's true. He's self-sufficient. He points at yogurt. Well, he actually, in fairness, he helped make a table today for his room. So he actually screwed all the 4 legs in. So he's coming along okay. And then he helped cook dinner. So he's doing all right.
I've got one, and then I heard way to improve it. So this probably applies to you two boys as travellers in your careers. Whenever you travel overseas, and of course you take the the country of destinations adapter for your electrical appliances. I always used to take like a little double adapter to get an extra couple of sockets out of the one. But then I heard the other day on the radio this guy who takes a power board, so he gets 4 or 5 power boards. It's nice and compact, fits in a suitcase. And I thought that is just genius. Why didn't I think of that from going a double adapter to a power board? But there is a little thing with that hack, and that is I did hear as well that cruise lines don't allow those. If they see them in the room, they will confiscate them. So whilst it's a good hack for dry land, probably not a good one for on the ocean.
Do you know why the cruise liner will confiscate it? What's the issue with the cruise liner?
Going to take a guess and say that they may have a certain amount of wattage they can output on the ship. So maybe if everybody's doing a power board, it's just going to drain too much power, perhaps from the poker machines or something.
No, I have used this one before. I have taken a power board overseas a number of times when I've gone overseas, especially for work, to be able to plug different things into it, especially now having different devices like potentially a tablet, a phone, a computer, and maybe something else being plugged in there. So that is something I have used before, not knowing or realizing that was in fact a life hack that I was adopting.
I wonder how many things we do in our life that are actually life hacks that we're not even, we don't even know are life hacks.
Well, even just talking about this, I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, you guys give me ideas. I've just jotted down another 2 or 3. And I was just like, oh, this is good. So on that travel note, for any frequent domestic traveller who is experienced, will all have this life hack. But for anybody that changes careers, roles or anything and starts to do a bit of domestic couple of day trip travel, you get the exact measurements of the largest carry-on that you can have. Go and buy a very nice suitcase that fits those measurements. Have a pre-prepared toiletries bag ready to go, a pair of sneaky shoes and comfortable pajamas all packed, so that if you do get called very short notice, which has happened to me, including the night before informing me of a 5:30 a.m. flight up to Sydney the next day, you are not worried too much about your packing. Because the one thing that you, as a life hack that I always use when I travel domestically, I try and push it for any trip 3 days, but definitely any 2-day or less trip, or 2 nights, I should say, only travel with carry-on, because airport lines are a bitch. And waiting for luggage is a bitch as well.
Does anyone still check in luggage when they fly domestic? I don't think anyone does anymore, do they?
Oh no, I went on a trip
Really?
with somebody who was not experienced in this life hack, and they lost his check-in luggage, and I was not impressed because we had a very small window of time to get from the airport to the CBD.
Yeah, they lost it because they're not used to unpacking and packing, not checking luggage on domestic flights anymore. They go, who sent this through here?
Yep, and it was a 1-night trip as well.
Oh,
so,
God. You're kidding. I think Qantas have just upped the amount you can actually take on as carry-on luggage as well now. So you can take on your normal bag plus another sort of bag. So I think a lot of the airlines are moving towards just being carry-on for that exact reason. God.
Yeah, it does make it nice and frequent. And while we were talking, another little life hack, when you were talking about all the different devices that we now have, Kane, that you can plug into these power adapters, I've actually found, so just recently I've gotten an Apple Watch. And one of the nice things is that my calendar, which unfortunately controls my life, by way of my phone, shows on my Apple Watch. And that is, I've actually found a beautiful life hack, because in a meeting, instead of just not only looking at your watch and going, hey, I've got this, you can actually just show somebody right then and there that it is 10:05 and at 10 a.m. I need to be here. And you can do a cheeky look and go, that's right, this is where I have to go. So I've found that the last couple of weeks has been very handy to run between, I guess, things after things.
That is an interesting one. Actually, just going back, because you travel a lot domestically, especially. I'm going interstate this week to Sydney. I'm going to only taking carry-on. That's exactly what I'll be doing. I'm not checking anything in. How does it go with deodorant? Like, do I hand the can over? Do they check the can? Can I not take a can? Do I have to take roll-on?
That's a good question. No, so roll-on, you're completely fine.
Yeah.
Spray is under, I think it's under 100 mils, but I always just go with those travel 50 mil ones.
Yeah.
The pain in the ass thing is, though, some airports you don't have to put, like, how you got to put your laptop in, and your phone and your wallet, and you put that separately outside of your bag. Some airports you can have those little cans in your toiletries bag. So Melbourne's fine, it'll go through. Sydney, you've got to take it out. So it's like different. And then different ones are different ones.
That's
so
okay. As long as I can
roll-on, you completely go through.
Yeah, I just don't want to be too stinky. So I just want to make sure, like, if I have to take roll-on, which is, who uses roll-on's like the 80s. Surely no one uses roll-on anymore. Isn't it just links under every male's arm in Australia or something like that? But okay, so I can get from Melbourne to Sydney with a can. It's fine. And then if Sydney want to confiscate my can, I've got deodorant when I get home, so I'll be sweet.
Yeah. Surprisingly, those little 50 mil ones go a long way.
Really?
I usually have one of those and rotate them around, and you shouldn't have any problems.
Oh, this is good to know. So for anyone who's going to the conference in Sydney this week, which is the Accounting Business Expo, I won't smell.
Such an exciting conference to go to.
Oh, yeah, be stoked. I'm talking about single touch payroll, which is single touch payroll and accounting. It sounds exceptionally boring unless you're an accountant or bookkeeper. So, and even for some accountants, it may be boring. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Matthew,
and out of our likely 5 listeners that we have, we now probably have 2.
Yep, they've just dropped off after that. Just leave a review and just say accounting sucks. Matthew.
Yeah. Another one, just touching on travel, something I'll chip in with my little travel hack as well. Approaching the lines to get through security, I always just tend to take the wallet out and whatever else they're going to need to put in a tray and just slip it into the bag I'm carrying, whether it be a little carry-on suitcase or whatnot. So it just, speeds up. I'm not holding anybody up when I'm trying to fiddle through my pockets to pick out anything that's going to go beep, beep. And then, take it out the other end. So just to streamline the process a bit.
Good work, Matt. And just a public service announcement for those that do travel a lot. It's good to hear that you're a polite traveler and think of others, because there's nothing more infuriating than people that are slow at those lines.
I live to give.
Oh man, those security check-ins are killers. I got one actually. I brew my tea in the morning, put it in a swell bottle, which was about $6 from Kmart, and I'm good for the day.
It's a good one.
I'm pretty frugal or tight. Depends what you prefer.
That's why you're off to an accounting conference.
I
I got another one. Yeah, so one that I have been using this year that a lot of people thought I was a bit crazy too when I sort of started on it, but I find it extremely effective, albeit a little bit painful, is in the mornings to have a straight cold shower. So basically, and there is a lot of science behind this, like the physiology reaction of the cold water hitting you. So just a minute or 2 minutes, just walk straight in the shower. It's best not to think, because if you think it's you sort of talk yourself out of it. But just walk straight in, move the tap, or just only use the cold water tap, depending on how your shower setup is. As cold as it can be, turn it on, sit under it, and no matter how tired or shitty a sleep that you had the night before, I guarantee within 30 to 40 seconds, you are woken up as if you've had 3 coffees. So I find that's a really, really good way to just get rid of any of that grogginess that can kind of hang around for that first, couple of hours in the morning. Have a cold shower and you're good to go. And surprisingly effective with hangovers as well.
I've never done that with a hangover, but I have had a cold shower for basically the last 2.5 years. I have an odd hot shower every now and again, but almost exclusively cold showers. I can probably only last 30 or 40 seconds. That's what I really need to kind of wash all the nooks and crannies one really needs to wash and kind of pay attention to. But it's great. It kind of changes your outlook on things, especially in the middle of winter in Melbourne when the water temperature is about 4 degrees and it's about 4 degrees outside.
Correct. Although they do say for the best physiological results, you got to try and hit 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So just putting that out there.
I'm trying to conserve water though. It's a balance between, physiological bits and, saving the world.
You live to give.
Oh, boys. I might throw one out there for anyone with kids now. So
three is easier than 2 economies of scale.
There's life hack right there. Don't have 3. If you're ever going away on holidays and you've got a little toddler who may normally sleep in a bed with maybe like a guardrail or something to stop them rolling out. So we found that when we're away, we'll either roll up a towel and put it under the sheet, or if you've got a pool noodle, that does the same sort of thing. So that acts as a bit of a, they'll hit that and not sort of go any further, a little barrier. So
I've heard the pool noodle one before. I've got one ready to go for when we transition our little fella from the cot to the bed, which is imminent. After we transition him from dummy to no dummy. Is there any life hack about replacing a dummy with like a popsicle or something, which will help him transition?
I can't take credit for this one, but I did read it today. There's a hack that you slowly cut away the end of the dummy, so a little bit at a time, and obviously clean it after each time you've done it. So eventually, after a while, they'll be sucking nothing effectively. There'll be no resistance on the suck because it's
just
sucking straight through.
The plastic nib.
Yeah, just a plastic nib. So, and eventually they'll just sort of discard it themselves, is what they say. So maybe give that a try.
Wow, that's a really good hack. That's almost as good as the tissue box, man.
Yeah. I'll plan to use that for little Sam eventually.
Oh.
Another patent pending for from Matt. One of the non-children ones that I've come across is, or especially is getting a bit busier, and that one of a little hack that a mate of mine got me onto was to avoid clothes shopping or spending a lot of time doing clothes shopping, which was a bit of a curse of mine. Was basically to find 2 to 3 style like clothing brands and just double down on them, so that I've found it significantly reduce the amount of time that I spend in malls by just going, right, for work gear I generally go with some MJ Bale stuff. for sort of smart casual, some Calvin Klein stuff, and for sporting stuff, it's pretty much Nike. And being able to just go, okay, I'm just going to go there, done. So it's a little one that I've implemented in the last 6 months that has almost eliminated my shopping trips from
Matthew,
being over 30 minutes.
You're a subscriber to that theory as well, because you have your particular brands that you like as well, don't you, Matthew? We've been through.
I do. Yeah, big subscriber to that. It's such a you know, you get back the gift of time by doing what Ryan just said. You know exactly where you need to go and nowhere else, and you come out with clothes set up for the season. So get on that one, boys and girls.
Now, I have a good day-to-day or week-to-week life hack, which is online grocery shopping. We use Woolies online. We previously used Coles, so we don't have to go up and down trawling through aisles. It gets delivered to your door. You can go pick it up if it's easier. There's a delivery fee, which is, if you get a voucher for a year, is relatively cheap. Works out to be $2 or $3 per delivery if you get one each week. The beauty of this is you can actually set up lists. So if you buy the same thing every week, say milk, bread, yogurt, all those sort of things you need on a weekly basis, you can literally just add them to a list and just go click, and 35 items are in your virtual shopping trolley in about a minute and a half. So it saves a lot of that time of either going to the shops. Admittedly, it doesn't often show if there's like an end of aisle special like $1 twirls. It doesn't show that online. But it does allow you to save a lot of time in actually having to go to the shops and actually add things to a virtual trolley.
Big fan of that. Big fan. We do the same thing, not regularly enough, I should say. We need to make more time to sit down and actually do that. But that list thing you said there, Kane, is a big help. So I'm a big subscriber to online shopping for groceries.
Would have to be even better when you do have kids. I would imagine not having to navigate the kid going up and down the aisles going, I want this, I want that.
Now, we were discussing offline last week, Matthew, about as a life hack. This is what brought this topic up. Can you share a little bit more about as a life hack? Yeah,
so a few years back at Etihad or Marvel Stadium, whatever you guys call it now, I was at a game and I saw a guy who we both work with, Kane, at one point, who is a regular at the footy, and he was he had a thermos, and I thought, okay, he's gonna have a coffee or a tea or something here, and he's pulled out, six Don footy Franks or whatever they were out of the thermos. And first I'm like, you are kidding me, are you? And then he's pulled out his rolls out of his bag. So he's obviously got it through the doors, as in, oh, I drink tea, or I drink a specific type of tea, or I need the hot water for a coffee or something. But yeah, when I saw the hot dogs come out of it, I thought, that is genius. I mean, why pay, I don't know what a hot dog costs at the footy anymore, $10, maybe $6? Why pay that when you can have 2 or 3 of, almost home-cooked hot dogs at the footy with a bit of sauce? And yeah, so
how did he extract them from the thermos? Do you have a set of tongs? Did he just?
He had a set of tongs. Yeah, yeah.
Of everything.
Yeah.
It's like that Melbourne supporter last year who had the cheese board at the MCC, just sitting there with his quince paste and his camembert, and just saddling up to that. So that's genius. That certainly beats trying to sneak 2 Whoppers into the cinema.
But speaking of a food little hack, I found one tonight that I've never seen been put into action, so I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical, but I thought, this is pretty cool. If you ever find yourself lost in the bush or in the wilderness, or and you need to light a fire, I've seen somewhere that chips, Doritos chips, any types of chips, are great little fire starters. The oil and the fat from the chip, they'll sit there and burn slowly. So if you need that kind of thing to start a fire and you've got some chips on you, you're set. You can get the flames.
It makes me feel fantastic having shared a packet of Doritos this afternoon.
Go camping
yeah, exactly. Another little food hack is, I find that I'm sure many people do, but very obvious one. But if you have pasta or spaghetti or something, which we usually do once a week, you always overcook and you set yourself up with lunch for the next little while.
Yes, definitely. There's a lot of food hacks now, like even being able to go to shops or buying online, like those sachets of rice, like a minute and a half to have brown rice, which is cooked perfectly, instead of 40 minutes on the stove, just things like that. There's so many time savers in a supermarket now compared to back when I was a kid, when you could only get Yo Play. Now you go through the yogurt, even the yogurt section, there's like 150 different yogurts. And then there's, is it Kogut or something, which is coconut yogurt, But there's plenty of life hacks out there just inside any old supermarket you walk in to save you time.
Absolutely.
Matthew, you've got to have one more.
I do have one more. It's sort of, it sort of ties into your situation as we talk right now, Kane. So I've seen one that is, and I've seen it happen at work, someone's done it before, is to get to amplify the speaker in your phone. So if you're playing some music, if you put it inside a glass cup or a cup, it will amplify the speaker, which is kind of what you're doing tonight, Kane, I guess.
Yeah, that does legitimately work. I'm actually currently sitting in the car in the garage of our house, because when we started recording this, the little fella was not quite asleep, and I just find that sitting inside the garage, inside the car is great for the acoustics, but also means that I won't get slapped on the wrist for keeping the little fella awake. Dual purpose life hack there, kids. Well, gents, if there's no more life hacks, I think we'd almost give the gold star to the tissue hack, because it was invented and brought to you by Matthew McTighe.
No one go out there and rip me off, please.
Patent pending.
Patent pending. That about wraps it up for this week. Do subscribe to Daddy Eats Last on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review, even if it is only about me boring you with tales of my accounting conferences. Do tell your mates about the podcast, especially if they are gentlemen or mates or men or dudes. Most of all, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week for another episode, or should I say serving, of Daddy Eats Last. How's that for a dad joke? Catch you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.